everybody, and welcome to The Game is Afoot. Yes, I am starting to say the title of the show in the beginning of the show. Surprise, surprise, I'm actually becoming a professional podcaster. Today we are playing Masks, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. I have a guest here with me. Oh, before I do that, we always do our names and pronouns. So I am Ryan. I use she, her pronouns. And then, wonderful, fabulous guest. Why don't you introduce yourself with your pronouns, and then your character with your character's pronouns?
Yes. Hi. My name is Hector Reyes. My pronouns are he, him. My character is Yuki, and aka Winter, which is her superhero name, or super idol name. And her pronouns are she, her.
Perfect. Usually we talk more about the stuff you want to plug in the interview episode, but I've realized that's not the most effective way to handle this, so why don't you plug your stuff right now, and then we'll go more in depth in the interview still.
Oh, okay. So Hector, people can usually find me on Twitter or Instagram as at Keiichi Okami. And I am a GM. I am dipping my toe into streaming. I've done a couple of streams on Tabletop Roulette on their Sunday live streams that they do, where they do one-shots, and that's been really fun. I've been a guest on various podcasts, and I've been GMing for about 30 years, since I was like a kid, starting with Dungeons & Dragons, but you know, I'm 40 now, and I'm doing a lot of indie RPGs, because that's where all the queer people are at, which is where I want to be. And
it's so true, though.
Yes, and so one of those typical kind of queer gamers that spent the 90s and the early 2000s playing a lot of White Wolf, because that's kind of all we had for a really long time in terms of, you know, queer folks. But now there's so much more, so I've pretty much spent this year on lockdown playing all kinds of different games like Monster Hearts and Masks, and lots of Belonging Outside Belonging and Powered by the Apocalypse games, and I've started writing myself, and hopefully later this year I'll have some stuff up on itch, you know, a couple projects that I'm working on.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of keeping them under my belt for now. You know, because there's still rough drafts on my Google Docs, so.
Well, you can always email me them later, and I can always throw them up on the Twitter.
Absolutely.
All right. So, like I mentioned, we are playing Masks today. You can find that on Magpie Games' website. I'll also link it in the description. It's similar in... I'm sorry, the corgi is screaming. Zabi!
They want to play too.
I know. She yells all the time. It doesn't matter what she's yelling at. She's going to yell. Yes, Masks is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, like I mentioned. So it has a similar structure to Monster of the Week, which we played in our first episode with Zoe Hovland. I am focusing on teens. Again, like I did with Zoe Hovland, but let's be honest, it's more fun sometimes to be a teen and not have your shit together.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're doing.
Yep.
Yuki is moving into a new town where she will start going to Rhododendron High School. Yes, I did practice saying rhododendron before we started recording. Why don't you tell me about your family situation, Yuki?
Oh, I imagine that Yuki has incredibly very like overachieving but kind of hands-off sort of parents, because she's like a music prodigy. She plays the violin and the piano, and they're not poor, but they're not particularly wealthy either. And they sort of just, whatever disposable income they have, they sort of pour into her music, into her academics. But they're very kind of almost like hands-off, a little bit cold, because Yuki's also a goth. Specifically, she's a gothic Lolita, so she wears like the very like high fashion, and she kind of has to like sew her own stuff, because gothic Lolita is an incredibly expensive hobby. So it's either like, do I get a new violin or do I get a new dress? Collecting dresses in the Lolita fashion scene is kind of like collecting Pokemon cards, but with more money. Or at least that's what my friends in the scene have said, and I'm taking that into the character. So she's a little bit of a seamstress, a little bit of a DIY, almost like 90s style found goth, whatever she can find at a thrift store, whatever she can find at, in the bargain bin. Sometimes she has to dye her own fabric. She's got like in her room she has like bottles of like black fabric dye. And she finds some lace that she's just like, oh, I gotta do this. So her life essentially is like music and then fashion, and then like I said, her family situation is very hands off. It would be nice if they were more warm, but she's just she's grateful that they're leaving her alone, as most teenage goths would like.
Yeah. Being a super idol must be the coolest for her then, because for people who already listen to some of the network shows for the Be Gay Roll Dice Network, Super Idols is another show on our network, and we are borrowing their optional rules. Thank you, Aaron Cerise. And as a super idol, when you transform, you have complete control over what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be fun for her.
Yeah, like, it's really, really great. Just like when I'm off defending love and justice, I don't have to buy a bunch of fabric. I can just look my best.
Exactly. In that somewhat detached way, I think your parents basically just knock on your door to make sure you're up to get ready for school, and then go about their own business. You're probably a bus rider then, since you said they don't have a ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of gets up, takes a shower, depending on what day of the week, she'll wash her long hair, because she's got, like, long black hair, and just sort of gets ready in the mirror, puts on some essential oils, because, she dabbles a little bit in Wicca. And,
as we all do.
Puts on a few essential oils to smell nice, and like looks in the mirror, and then puts on a bit of makeup, picks out her outfit for the day, trying to pick out something that isn't going to be difficult to wear on the bus, but fails spectacularly because she can't help herself. She likes a nice petticoat. And, she's wearing an outfit that's very, kind of like an Alice cut, blacks and blues. She brings a parasol with her along with her backpack. And she has, as opposed to a backpack, she has, a side satchel that she keeps her school books in, that she's, put little patches and things on. And then she has, her little purse. And she just sort of braids her hair, and just, kind of a single braid. Makes her way to the bus stop.
As she's heading out the door, I think she can hear the news on TV, and there is a CC Sweet song playing on the news station. Yuki would know that CC Sweet is part of the idol club that is at Briar Patch High School, which is a different school in this district.
Wow. And she goes up and she kind of takes looks on the TV. Is it a performance? Is it a competition?
It is a recording of a performance. So in this area, the different schools in the district will have a tournament, and then they will have a tournament against other school districts, basically culminating in a statewide Super Idol performance tournament. And the prize for winning that performance tournament is a $10,000 grant for that school's idol club. It is a big deal. And CC Sweet's idol club has won the past 2 years in a row. CC Sweet is a blonde-haired, purple-eyed darling known across the U.S. Super Idols kind of first started developing in Canada. No one really knows how they started getting their powers, but it's now an international sensation. CC CC Suite is known for her candy-inspired style. Kind of edging on Lolita, not quite there. More magical girl-esque.
Right.
Madoka
Magica.
Thank you. I can never say that right on the first try.
Yeah.
But think along those lines, candy barrettes, bows, lollipop heels on her shoes, all that jazz.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is currently a CC Suite performance on the news as the news anchor is talking about how they are expected to again take over the district tournament, especially since there's only one other high school in the running to compete with them right now.
Oh. She sits there and Yuki says, and she kind of touches the TV a little bit dramatically and says, not this year. And picks up her violin case, and then dashes to the bus stop as she realizes that she's a little bit late and needs to get there fast.
I think you almost missed the bus. In fact, you would have missed the bus. But as the bus starts pulling away, you hear a girl yell, Wait, she's coming! As a girl has basically half her torso out the bus window. When you see her, she has dark brown skin with some warm undertones, and she has her hair in cornrows. The bus pulls to a stop some 30 feet away from the original bus stop.
Yuki's like, opens the door, and then, she takes a moment to, squeeze her petticoats, into the entrance, and she says, thank you, to the bus driver, and then, starts to make her way. Is the girl that has her torso out the window, does she have an open seat next to her?
She does. You are currently seeing her kind of wriggle her way back out of the window, so there's a little bit of butt wiggling as she tries to get back in her seat, because that's not exactly an easy fit for any high school student.
No.
But especially not someone as, depending on your perspective, either fortunately or unfortunately busty as this girl. And then she gets back in her seat with a plop.
Yuki starts making her way towards that seat, and she's kind of sort of in the voiceover. Yuki's thinking to herself, potential recruit, as she makes her way over and sits, and she says, is the seat taken?
Yeah, you must be new. And she pats the seat next to her so you can sit down.
Yeah, she goes over, she sits down. Thank you so much for stopping the bus. This is, you're right, I am new. My name's Yuki. What's yours?
I'm Lily, and she holds out her hand to shake yours.
She extends it and shakes it, and I don't know if Lily's gonna find this unusual, but Yuki has these really nice, delicate gloves that she wears, black lace that match her dress, and she just kind of goes out and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. She takes the glove off, and then actually gives her a good handshake.
After they shake hands, she points towards the bus driver and is just like, Curtis only ever stops to let late kids on the first day of school, so...
Oh, okay, so always be early.
Yeah, early is a good idea.
Okay, she just kind of puts the glove back on, maybe a little flirtatiously, just da-da-da, like that.
Oh, look at me, I'm so dainty and cute.
Yes, exactly. Just to give people a little bit more of a visual of Yuki. So Yuki is, I'm imagining in my head that she very specifically is Japanese American, but as if she's from Tokyo, not Northern Japan, because Northern Japan is more Aino, which is with the dark hair and dark eyes, or curly hair. It's a different look. So she's more, but she's of mixed ethnicity. She's American and Japanese. So she's very, very pretty. Long dark hair. Occasionally she wears contacts for fun. That usually will be like a dark blue, but like her natural eye color is a dark brown. But she'll often be wearing blue contacts because she likes to wear like royal blue like accessories with her black dresses.
And she wants her eyes to match.
Yeah, she wants her eyes to match. And then her makeup is also often very subtle, you know, a little bit of eyeliner, sometimes blue eyeshadow, and very occasionally dark lipstick when she's feeling like frisky, but it's like the first day of school, so she's just wearing like a very light blue shade that kind of complements the outfit.
Lily today is in like this skirt suit looking outfit. This is not her normal look. Mm-hmm. Lily's mom is very much like, you must make your best impression with the teachers on the first day. Mm-hmm. Normally, Lily is a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl.
Oh.
So she's like kind of messing with the cuffs of her long sleeve button up under the jacket and like so annoyed that her mom made her wear this today.
I like your dress. It's really pretty.
Thanks. It's not really my normal scene.
Yeah, I only put on one petticoat today. Sometimes I wear more than one.
It looks nice. I don't know if I could ever pull off stuff like that.
Oh, I'm sure you could. I could make you something.
You don't have to do that. You're sweet though.
So does the new school, I'm wondering, does the school have an idol club?
Oh, no. Rhododendron hasn't had an idol club in like 5 years.
5 years? That's a really long time.
Yeah, it's been so long that the school sold all of the equipment that the last idol club had.
Oh. Do you know why that is?
Why they sold it?
Oh, no, why there's no more idol club? Is there just a lack of interest?
Yeah, as far as I know. Our last idol club was really, really cool. Did you ever hear of the Beat Cats?
Have I heard of the Beat Cats?
I think you would have. They were a bit of a sensation when they were kind of at their prime. Mm-hmm. Not everyone would have heard of the Beat Cats, but considering how into music you are and how into idol clubs you seem to be, I think you would have heard of them. The Beat Cats are kind of a synth punk, or they were a synth punk band. And they really kind of played off of the aesthetic of like, oh, I had the name of this cartoon in my head, now it's gone.
Gem and the Holograms?
No, the one with Chitara in it.
Thundercats,
thank you. So they really played off of the Thundercats aesthetic, hence Beat Cats.
Oh, okay.
But after the idol club dissolved, there hasn't been a lot of any of them on the scene, either as a group or as individuals.
Oh. When she mentions the Beat Cats, be like, oh, I've heard their stuff. I have their second CD that they put out. It was really good stuff.
Yeah, their last EP was really dark though, and then the club just kind of stopped.
No. And all that equipment's been sold off?
Every last bit of it.
And I'm sorry, I'm usually the kind of person that has to hear a name 3 times. You said your name was Lisa?
Lily.
Lily. Oh, like the flower.
Mm-hmm.
So Lily, do you sing?
I mean, kind of. And she's like doing that nervous rubbing the back of her neck thing that Hector can clearly see and the listener can't. Yeah, she's doing that whole thing, trying not to mess with her hair.
Well, I'm new here, and I could definitely use someone to show me around. Would you be willing to help me out?
Yeah, I can show you around. Hey, let me see your schedule.
Oh, sure. And she, like, goes into her satchel and pulls out her schedule and hands it to her.
When you compare schedules, you see that you have the first class of the day together and the last class of the day together. The rest of your schedules don't match up, though.
Okay.
So Lily's looking at your schedules, and she says, oh, we both have math with Mr. Peters right at the beginning of the day.
Oh, okay.
And then compassion training with Ms. Meredith at the end.
Okay.
I can show you where your English class is after math, because it's really close to the math classroom.
Oh, that would be great.
And then I think I can show you where your bio class is after lunch, because it looks like we have the same lunch too.
Okay, that would be awesome. Ugh. Thank you so much, Lily. I think this first day is going to be a lot less nerve-wracking than it originally was. And if this were an anime, it would have like the streaks, you know, of happiness, like the happiness streaks like behind her head.
Yeah.
As she's like, you know, not really closing her eyes, but like the eyes are closed for like expression reasons, you know?
Yeah. Lily just gives her this big old smile. I think Lily is the kind of person who's always open to making friends, but she has a hard time making that first move. Torso out of a bus window notwithstanding. But yeah, you all get to school. Curtis does have some snide remark about not making students late in the future as you get off, but that's about it. And you're not really late for school. You're one of the last buses pulling in, but you're not late.
Right. She will say, she will turn around and she will bow to Mr. Curtis and say, I will make sure to be on time in the future. Thank you. And continues, like, onto school, trying to kind of disarm him. Can I
you
pierce
should be
the
able
mask?
to use a move.
May I pierce the mask?
Hold on, let me take a look. Is that a pierce the mask thing?
Oh, I was using pierce the mask to, like, figure out his deal. But I think the move to disarm him would be provoke.
Yeah, I think either would work in this situation, so go ahead and choose which one you think works best for her motivations.
I think I want to do pierce the mask because she wants to understand him better, as opposed to, like, get him to do something.
Right. Okay, so this is where we roll 2d6. And then pierce the mask is plus mundane.
Okay. All right, let's see here. So I rolled an 8, and then my mundane's plus 1, so it's a 9.
All right, so on a 7 and 9, you get to ask one question. What are you really planning? What do you want me to do? What do you intend to do? How could I get your character to blank? Or how could I gain influence over you?
Ooh, okay. How can I get your character to forgive me?
Okay. So you bow, which he clearly thinks is a little odd because he raises an eyebrow, but he just kind of does this little nod, and just before he pulls away, you see an empty bag of a really obscure snack. What is this snack? Ryan doesn't know. She'll figure it out later and edit it in. Note: Ryan did not figure it out later and did not edit it in.
Okay, so, Yuki, as the bus, you know, like, door shuts, she turns around and she pulls out, like, her little, like, bullet journal, and she describes the snack and does, like, a little quick sketch of it, and then says, go to the market, buy for bus driver, and then puts it away.
Perfect. So your first class of the day is math class. We don't necessarily have to go through every single class of the day. That's not really the fun part.
No.
But I will say that while you and Lily are sitting and talking, You do see this redheaded girl in the far back corner of the room. And she kind of has this, like, adoring entourage around her.
Oh.
Think Regina George.
Right.
But a redhead.
Gotcha.
So she's sitting in the back corner.
Lily, who is that?
That is Kelly. She's not the nicest.
Well, I'll make sure to, like, avoid crossing her.
It's probably a good plan. And as Lily says that, you do see a guy, like, hand over a stack of papers to her. And she reaches into her bag, pulls out a handkerchief, gives it to him, and says, "Make sure I have that back by tomorrow." And then puts the papers in her backpack. And then, unless you have anything else you want to do or say right now, class will start, and then we'll skip class, because I don't like math.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gay. No math.
No math.
No math.
I'm actually going to assess the situation.
Sure.
Because, I mean, we do live in a world of, like, you know, supervillains and everything, and who knows, this mean girl might not just be a mean girl. Mm-hmm. So she's just sort of, like, looking at her and the handkerchief, and maybe looking around the classroom to see how people react. You know, kind of out of concern, like kind of on her guard, you know what I mean? Maybe the music becomes a little more dramatic in the background as she like kind of narrows her eyes and looks around. Is that okay?
Yeah. If you want to roll it, roll it.
Ha! All right. I rolled another 8. I'm getting really lucky.
And then it's plus superior.
Plus superior, which is... Oh,
Your
no,
superior is 3.
Oh, yeah. 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is an 11.
Okay. So on a 10 plus, you get to ask 2 questions. And then also write this down. If you ever do something where you're acting on the answers, you take a +1.
Okay.
Okay. So your questions are, what here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is in the greatest danger? Who here is the most vulnerable to me? And how could we best end this quickly?
Okay. I'm gonna start with what here is the biggest threat.
In this room, Kelly is definitely the biggest threat. As you take a closer look, surreptitiously, of course, at this extremely popular girl, it is very clear that with a snap of her fingers, she could end someone's social life. There's also a girl nearby who has this little dark bob going on, but she kind of keeps pulling on it like she's trying to get it to grow, and whenever Kelly says something to her, she seems to take notes.
Taking notes of what Kelly is doing?
Or what Kelly's saying. You can't really tell from where you are.
Okay. What here is in the greatest danger?
Probably that boy who just got the handkerchief. It's more emotional danger than physical danger.
Okay.
He has now sat at his desk where there's not really a lot of other people around. And he... I'm trying to make it sound not creepy, but I don't know how to. He takes a deep breath in of the scent of this handkerchief before he puts it in his backpack.
Oh. Okay.
Which leaves, what here can I use to blank? Who here is most vulnerable to me? And how could we best end this quickly?
Okay. This is gonna sound a little comedic. What here can I use to get Kelly not to notice me?
Well, considering your outfit, that's a little harder. You could create some sort of a distraction by doing something to embarrass some other classmate of yours. It could be this boy who just sat down with the handkerchief. It could be somebody completely unrelated. If you want to make someone up on the spot to embarrass, you could do that.
Right.
But however you chose to embarrass them, if you choose to follow that path, you would want to do it in a way that doesn't also bring attention to you.
Right. I think that Yuki is kind of like, no, I don't really. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. I am a delinquent, so I get to ask an additional question.
Ooh!
Yes. Okay, so I can ask either what here is useful or valuable to me, how could I best infuriate or provoke blank, and what's the best way in/past. I totally forgot that I had these. I'm glad that I saw it. How could I best provoke Kelly?
Anything that is going to threaten her idea of herself or other people's idea of her is definitely going to provoke her. Like I said, she is the queen bee of this school. Everyone is just there for her to mold into her ideal image of them. So that boy who has the handkerchief is clearly some sort of pawn to her. These people are her adoring fans. Anything that would disrupt that would be provoking and threatening to her.
So anything that gets her to question her sense of self?
Her sense of self or other people's sense of her worth.
Yeah. Alright. So Yuki gets up, walks over to the boy with the handkerchief after he puts it away, and says, "Hi, my name is Yuki. I'm new here. I noticed that you like handkerchiefs." And she pulls out one of her own hand-embroidered handkerchiefs and says to him, "I just want to make a really good impression here to people at the school, and I hope maybe later on you could maybe show me around. A gift for you." And she hands him the handkerchief. "What's your name?"
His eyes go so big. Like, they're saucers in his head. Very much Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Daffy Duck eyes exploding out at something he can't believe. And he stumbles over his words a little bit, and he says, "Roger, I'm Roger. I'm Roger Clayfield," and holds his hand out to
It's
her.
such to meet you, Roger Clayfield. And then, like a delicate lady, she hands over the handkerchief into the hand that he puts up, and lets him take it from her. And this is all in an effort to provoke Kelly, and the motivation behind it, because with provoke you got to do the motivation, right? And the motivation is to make her doubt herself because this beautiful, mysterious new girl is in town.
Okay. Roll provoke someone and make sure you take that +1 towards it.
Thank you. Okay, here we go. Got that's right here. Okay, I only rolled a 5. With the +1 is a 6. And that is that superior? No, what's provoke? Provoke is superior, yes. So that is
yes,
a 9.
So +3 is a 9. So that is a success. Dang. So on a 7 to 9, you can choose 1. So they stumble, you can take +1 forward against them. They err, you gain a critical opportunity. They overreact, you gain influence over them.
I am going to go with they overreact, so I can gain influence over her.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. So you hand this handkerchief over to this boy who is just looking at you with the biggest, most starry love heart eyes you've ever seen. Ever. And she gets up from her desk extremely suddenly. In that way where you can hear the chair squeak and then topple over. And her entire entourage just stops. And she walks over to you and puts her hands down on his desk and says, "What do you think you're doing with my grade machine?"
And then she just turns around and smiles at her. It's like, "Oh, hi, my name is Yuki. I'm new. I just saw that he really liked handkerchiefs, and I make hand-embroidered handkerchiefs, and I wanted to make a new friend. It's a pleasure to meet you."
Let's get this straight. He works for me. I run this school. And you would do best to mind your place before I make your life a living hell. But you can kind of see behind that threat and behind her eyes, she is worried about you.
Yuki, like, takes, it's kind of taken aback and is like, "Oh, and then laughs. She just oh, you're serious. I thought you were quoting Mean Girls. Okay, well, I think it's really important that you read the student handbook because there's an incredibly detailed bullying and harassment policy, and I believe that this is a zero-tolerance school. It was a pleasure to meet you."
I love that you just whipped that out because I wrote into this school's whole backstory that they're very well known for their emotional social learning environment. She stares at you. And then she says, "Watch your step, new girl." And she goes back to her place with her little entourage. Someone else has already picked her chair back up.
Yep.
And she sits down, crossing her legs over top of her desk. And one of her little entourage members is already shining her shoes.
What was it? She turns to the boy and is like, "I'm so sorry. I always have to hear names 3 times before I remember them. Did you say your name was Samuel?"
Roger. Roger Clayfield?
Roger. Okay. I will do my best to remember next time. Thank you so much for making me feel welcome here on my first day, Roger. I hope that we can become friends." And then she smiles at him and then makes her way back to sitting next to Lily.
Even as she's walking away, he's just kind of nodding and he's like, uh-huh.
It's a good thing this isn't Monster Hearts. It's a totally different direction.
Hey everybody. Sorry if this ends up coming up a bit late. I don't know if it will or won't, but apologies in advance because I am prepared. Anyway, thanks for listening to this episode with Hector. We had a ball playing Masks together. If you want to keep up with everything TGIA podcast, go ahead and follow at TGA... Scratch that. Reverse it. Go ahead and follow at TGIA podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And yes, I am going to leave the flub in because I'm human and so are you. We all make mistakes. Anyway, here's an ad from The Magic Dagger, a show that I take a lot of credit for bringing to the network. That was my husband who's sitting next to me. It's okay, it's gay love. It's allowed to be in the ad.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm going to let you listen to that ad and then we'll get back to the show. See you soon!
Need a new gay found family podcast?
We're a queer-led actual D&D play... Nope. We're a queer-led actual play D&D podcast of 4 best friends who are currently playing... Hold on. We're a bunch of queers playing D&D for a podcast. We're lifelong friends. We have space travel, magic technology, heist, horses, and a really gooey goblin. I'm stealing all of your stuff. I'm just going to say this entire ad.
We have great bonus content with the first episode of each arc available for free. And the entirety of the first arc, the Bone Rattlers. Yeah, each art is set in a. Excuse me. Each art is set in an in-universe history podcast about each planet in the planetary system. There's more than one.
We have a bunch of episodes available for binging and wonderful characters to fall in love with and hate, including some jank horses.
We have multiple arcs out that follow the story of
Val, a Triton. 10. Okay. Val the Triton, an interplanetary criminal and MLG gamer. Horse rider extraordinaire.
Xerxes, a murderous demon that likes to wear dad hats. And sometimes rides a nightmare horse.
Patches, a part-time old lady, full-time ooey gooey cyborg goblin, and her trusty rusty steed, Horus.
and Adam, the small boy technomancer, and their journey as they grow and discover the truth to their pasts.
I was gonna be mad because I didn't do a character voice, and then I was like, no, I did.
Magic Dagger. If the true treasure isn't friendship, I'm gonna be mad.
I'm gonna be mad.
If treasure true, friendship bad?
So she goes back to Lily, and before she can really talk to Lily more, that's when Mr. Peters, the math teacher, comes in and class starts. And now we're going to skip.
Yes, skipping math.
I will say that during your third period right before lunch, you're in another class with Kelly, and she is shooting daggers at you with her eyes the entire time.
I am going to sketch a beautiful outfit. It's fashion outfit. Actually, no. She's going to pull out a croquis, which are, for those of you who don't know what croquis are they're like paper dolls that are used by like actual fashion designers, and they're a little bit taller than like standard proportions, and you draw over them to do fashion designs. Just a little fashion education. So she has a bunch of croquis that she just kind of like, you know, she went to the library and Xeroxed them or printed them out on her computer. And she takes a croquis and then she kind of guesses Kelly's measurements and then draws this like lovely, takes the class to like sketch like an outfit, you know, a gothic Lolita outfit. And then, you know, pulls out her colored pencils and gives it red hair, you know, to make it obvious that it's for her. And then towards the end of the class, she will walk up, like as everybody's leaving, she'll walk up to Kelly and she's like, I made this design for you. If you're interested, I would be more than happy to make it for you if you wanted to commission me. And then she like hands her the the croquis. And I'm doing another provoke roll.
Yeah, that'll do it. Go ahead and roll it.
I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just having a
I'm
great
into
time.
it. I love this idea of this girl coming in and being told Kelly sucks, and then she's like, great, I'm gonna make Kelly's life suck because she sucks.
Okay, alright. So I rolled a 3, but I have influence on her, so that's a 4.
And then you're +3 for superior.
+3 for 4, 5, so that's a 7.
Dang, okay. So you can still choose from they stumble, take a +1 forward against them, they err, you gain a critical opportunity, or they overreact.
Well, I already have influence over her, so I shouldn't pick they overreact because I don't think I can switch. I don't think NPCs have
The markers to switch
the markers,
around.
the markers to switch around. So I should pick the other two. I'm gonna go with they stumble.
Okay. Yeah, she looks at this design and then back at you and back at this design. And
it's not ugly. It's actually really nice. I just want to clarify that for the fiction.
You're not trying to make her look bad.
No, I'm actually trying to just make her look. It's my fashion, but it's, you know.
Right. And she kind of stumbles over her words and then eventually manages to spit out, "If I was going to a costume party," and just flounces out of the room. But as she does that flouncing, the design kind of does that slow back and forth fall to the floor. And one of her little entourage members picks it up. And she looks at it and she goes, This is really good.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't trying to be mean. I know that my fashion style isn't for everybody, but I mean, she is, I don't know, I just figured if one of the most popular girls in the school, you know, embraced fashion like I do, that will make me a little bit less of an outcast. But I'm glad that you like it. My name's Yuki. What's your name?
I'm... Ryan's coming up with a name on the spot.
Oh!
I'm Carolyn.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Carolyn, but I don't want to get you in trouble with your friend. You should catch up with Kelly. We can talk another time if you're interested. Keep it.
Sure. Oh, hold on. And then she gets into her little bag and she pulls out a legit business card and hands it to her.
She takes it.
And she's just like, it's got my cell phone. It's just because my mom put me in Future Business Leaders of America and then made me all these business cards. But that's my phone number.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, text me, maybe.
I will.
Okay.
And then Yuki will pull out her cell phone and take a picture of the business card and save it because that's what you do when you get business cards in the 21st century. So that she has it later, and then she'll put the actual card itself in her purse.
Okay, I gotta go to my next class. Bye.
Bye.
And she's off. But she definitely still has that sketch with her.
Yeah, and then what was her name again for my memory? Because I have
Carolyn.
Carolyn.
I stumbled because I tried to give her an NPC name that I have already saved for a different character that you may or may not meet.
Ah, gotcha.
All right. So yeah, that's your third period, and then you have early lunch. So we could talk about your lunch with Lily, or we could skip forward to the end of the day. It's up to you.
I think at lunch, the one of two things. Yuki's going to tell Lily all about her day, while they're eating lunch, and how she has been
Tormenting.
The incident tormenting Kelly. And is going to try and see if Lily would like to hang out after school to do like music stuff. Because she's gonna give a speech where she's like, I know we've only known each other a short while, but Lily, I have a dream. I want to be a super idol, and I want to start a group at this new school, and I think that now's the time. It's been 5 years, and you know, I haven't heard you sing yet, but it doesn't matter. With practice and with friendship, we could do this.
Okay, no promises? If you still are interested after we tool around, then maybe we can talk to the school about starting a new idol club.
Awesome.
You want to go get Boba after school first? And then maybe...
Absolutely.
Cool. My place is actually kind of within walking distance. I just had a lot of books to bring to school today because they were overdue. But we could walk to my place after Boba.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I've got plenty of like extra money in my allowance account, so if I need to take an Uber home, it's all good.
Sure. I mean, we'll see. My brother might be able to give you a ride.
Oh, is he cute?
He's my brother?
Oh, that was a weird question, wasn't it? I'll decide for myself.
Okay. So yeah, you get through most of the rest of the day, and then you have that last class together with Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And before the teacher can get started, before the bell rings, not Kelly, I'm sorry, with Lily. Lily hands you her phone in this, like, really hustled movement. And when you look at her phone, it is a article from a school gossip rag. I'm trying to decide what it's called, because the only thing that I can come up with can be very easily construed to be inappropriate. No, I'm not calling the gossip rag the Bush. I'll come up with the name later.
Okay.
Okay. But the article that is on the home page of this gossip rag website is "New Girl Ruffles Queen Bee's Nest." And there is a picture from first period when they're having their little confrontation.
Oh my gosh. News travels fast.
Yeah, nobody knows who this person is, but they've got your number quick.
Oh, I don't, is there like a picture like of like, is it like on Instagram, like where like,
I think the picture is on Instagram, but it's been linked into this article.
oh, okay.
And the picture is of Yuki just kind of standing up, looking all delicate and sweet while she talks to Kelly, and Kelly all bent over with her hands on the desk. So they make like a triangle between themselves and the desk.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
like a perfect shot, and I'm like, and of course Yuki's first thought is, took this picture.
It's a good angle of you if that helps
It's
at
like
all.
a great angle. This is like, did you? She like very teasingly like looks over at Lily and is like, did you take this picture?
No, I was too busy panicking at the fact that you were intentionally provoking a bear.
I just wanted to make a new friend. Roger's so nice.
I hate how she treats him.
Yeah, I mean, he likes handkerchiefs, so.
Well. Okay, he's a little weird. We all know he's a little weird. But
I like dressing in neo-Victorian outfits, and I play violin for fun, so I try not to judge people.
I mean, I think he's just lonely, and then Kelly takes that and manipulates him, and I hate it, but also I'm terrified of her.
Well, I mean, understandable.
Yeah. And then
Right.
further down the article, there's also a picture
Oh, yeah,
of
I'm
the
looking through the
sketch that
article.
you did.
I'm gonna try and see who wrote it. Is there like a byline?
There is a byline, but all it says is your local busy bee.
I think I have an idea who wrote this.
You do?
Yeah.
You just got here and you already
I-
have theories.
I think it's Caroline.
There's this dawning expression on her face as you say that, and she's like, maybe? No. Maybe?
It's either Caroline
But
or it
no.
was that other girl with the bob that was writing down everything. Did you notice her?
Oh, Missy.
Missy. Oh, I have a name now. And she just gets really excited.
Before you can talk more about this mystery article writer, the teacher starts class.
Oh.
I love Yuki just being like, I'm getting to the bottom of this.
I'm just like imagining that at certain points through the class, like Yuki just doesn't want to let it go and like keeps like texting Lily through the rest of the class. Because, you know, it's not the 90s anymore. We don't pass notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking as a substitute teacher, you pass notes if you don't want me to threaten to take your phone to my desk for the rest of the class period, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah. Anyway.
Maybe they do pass notes. Maybe like Yuki's like, my parents would kill me if my phone got confiscated on the first day of school. So she's just like scribbling little notes in her notebook.
I think that has the added benefit of occasionally seeing cute little lily doodles.
Yes.
So, like, one of them is like, but if it really is Caroline, and then there's a little doodle of Caroline with a little angel halo with little devil horns holding it up.
Yeah.
Things like that. After school, the two of you head to the Boba place. It is a locally owned place, not a chain. And there is a couple that runs it. One of them is Korean American, and the other one is Japanese American. And they're two ladies who constantly call them each other like sweetie and darling and snuggly poo when they particularly want to embarrass the other one as they do the orders. So Boba Pop is the name of this little local place.
Nice. Is there like rainbow plastic cups?
So they
Or is it a little
try
more subtle?
they try to focus on cups that are going to be sustainable.
Okay.
So there are plastic options.
It's like a corn plastic?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Something that will biodegrade with time. And they have like little rainbow manatees and stuff on them.
Love
Or
it.
you can purchase one of their glass reusable cups. And if you bring one of the glass reusable cups back with the glass straw, then you get a discount towards your next boba.
Oh, since this is Yuki's gonna lean to Lily and be like, should I buy one of the glass ones?
Lily kind of gets this grin on her face and then reaches into her backpack, rummages around for a second, and pulls out her glass boba cup.
Oh, okay.
They have
and-
different little cutesy designs. So one of them is one drawn by one of the owners. You also have other versions that are like contest winners, so they'll do different age groups where you can design your own cup, and then it'll get made into one of their reusable cups. So there's like 5 or 6 different designs.
Okay. She picks like a cute little design, maybe like one with like a purple manatee on it.
Cute.
With little hearts. And pays the extra to get one of the glass cups so that next time she comes, she gets a discount. And she just orders taro, a taro milk tea.
Lily orders a taro matcha blend,
Oh.
which my husband turned me on to. It's great. And yeah, they get their boba and then they head over to Lily's place. Lily's dad isn't home right now. Her brother is upstairs in his room, but that's currently closed off. It's a small little house. I actually think Lily and her brother share a room. They just have a divider down the middle. But since Lily does not want Willow to overhear their conversation, they go into the backyard, which is a beautiful garden. Like a little stone walkway back there to a little pond and everything.
Wow. Do you have an herb garden?
Yeah, it's in that corner back there, and she kind of points. And when you look over in the corner where the herb garden is, there's also like a series of little wooden wind chimes hanging up too.
Wow, this is so nice.
Thanks. I put a lot of work into it.
So, and she opens her violin case, and, pulls out the bow and things. Let me show you what I can do.
So this is where we do... Well, actually, let me check. Are you transforming into your superhero self? Or not yet?
No, not yet. I imagine that she only turns into her superhero self for, like, big performances or to fight crime.
Okay.
But she just kind of sort of wants to show her, like, how talented she is so that the super idol group isn't a... You know what? I might actually do that. So that she
You
knows
might
how
transform.
serious I am. All right.
Okay, so if you want to transform, this is where we use the transformation sequence rules, which I forgot
Yes.
to pull up. It
still have
means that
this
you get to move one of your markers up and one of your markers down I'm sorry, Aaron Cerise. I should have had this bit pulled up first. Let's see. Yes. Custom moves. Here we go. Clicked on world building instead. Yes. So you gain access to all your powers. Shift any 2 of your labels. You can't transform if you have 4 or more conditions marked, but we don't have any conditions marked right now.
No. So she starts playing the violin, and as she plays the violin, there's like a whoosh of like blue and purple energy and like starlight like all around her as she's like playing, and the music is very similar to, if anyone is familiar with Lindsey Sterling, it sounds like a Lindsey Sterling song as she's like sort of prancing and dancing around, and then her outfit just becomes more vibrant and colorful and fuller and bigger, and then her hair comes completely loose, and she has like these beautiful like barrettes that kind of keep the hair back, as she sort of has this like Sailor Pluto-esque kind of vibe going on, and the there's like almost like little like snowflakes, like there's like a little like almost like a winter theme going on with like the edge of her skirt has like crystalline snowflakes embroidered on it. All of the lacing is all like icy snowflake patterned. Around her waist is this like Alice blue ribbon that's just, you know, has like the very tail ends of it have like snowflakes on it. It's all very like wintry themed. The violin turns white and like frosted over, but the strings are like midnight black, and then when she finishes the performance, I'm going to shift my superior down, and I'm going to raise my I think I'm going to raise my danger.
Okay, perfect. So you do this beautiful, spectacular transformation sequence, and Lily kind of pauses from where she was going to pick some lavender to make some lavender lemonade with. And she goes, oh, we're doing this. And when her transformation sequence starts, you hear an array of vocals, beginning of a Final Fantasy-esque theme song vocals. She does this thing where she crosses her hands at the wrists and kind of makes this heart shape with her hands, and then her hands go up in a kind of a circle above her head. It's the closest I'm going to get to describing what I see in my head. And as she does this, the garden kind of rustles around you, and as her clothes kind of shimmer, sparkle in that anime way where you can't actually see any nudity, it seems almost like the garden itself is clothing her in something new. She's got this flower petal bodysuit going on. There are vines that twist down her arms and around her fingers like little rings. Her feet have these little bark shoes on them, almost. And then instead of her cornrows, they lengthen out into these super, super long dreadlocks. Whereas she went pretty plain-faced to school, she now has a really bold burgundy red lip. Her features look a little older than she normally does in her transformed version. And she has these little tiny daisy-looking things at the tips of her eyelashes. And then she kind of takes this deep breath and says, "We are doing this, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't show people this.
Well, if you're ready, and we get this right, and I believe we will, we're gonna show the world.
I think I can with you there.
awesome. Let's jam. And she just starts, like, playing, like, the violin. Sing something and I'll follow. You know, and then whatever she sings, Yuki by ear, using her musician's ear, she's going to kind of improvise on the violin to follow the melody. You know, and just sort of do this, like, kind of jam duet thing with the two of them as, like, the first number where they're connecting, you know, and, like, I'm just imagining it's kind of like, is it friendship, is it romantic, and that sort of, like, you know, ambiguous way that people argue about on Reddit.
The part I love about this is that the entire time I had Lily in my head, I imagined her singing style as the gayest ass Disney princess you have ever seen.
Yes.
So I think that fits perfectly in what you're describing.
Yeah.
And you jam. Let's see.
Can I make a comfort roll? A comfort soothe roll?
Hell yeah, you can. I think
Lily
that's great.
Feel more confident about what's going on. I mean, and that uses mundane, doesn't it? I have an okay mundane.
Let's see.
Comfort or support. Okay. All right. Hopefully I roll good. Okay. I got a 7, a 1, and a 6. Like.
Okay.
And then my mundane, I believe, is +1. Let me look at my character sheet. Yes, it is. So I got an 8.
Okay, so it says, on a hit they hear you, mark potential, clear condition, or shift labels if they open up to you. On a 10+, you can also add a team to the pool. We haven't really talked about team points at all because you haven't had a team yet.
Right, of course.
But I think in this situation, normally you would get to choose what you would do, right? But I think in this situation, it makes most sense for you to take potential because you are creating this not only potential band with her, but this potential friendship.
Yay!
So go ahead and mark a potential. And when you stop singing and making music together, she doesn't de-transform, but she just kind of sits on one of the deck chairs. And in her transformed form, she looks too regal for this little wrought iron desk chair on this little deck in this little garden. It's a beautiful garden, but it doesn't equal her. But at the same time, she looks vulnerable when she looks at you and she says, I got these powers a couple years ago. I never really expected it. I was in a band for a little while in junior high, and I mostly did the behind-the-scenes stuff, the mixing, the album art, all of that. And then when I got these powers, everyone got mad at me, like it was my fault. And then I wasn't in the band anymore. We moved after that, and we've been here ever since, and I don't want my powers to make something bad happen where we have to move again.
I hear you. But you know, this is a chance for us to try and build something new. And forming an idol group has really been a dream of mine, and I'm really, really glad that I met you. Not only known each other a day, but I think that we have, you know, even as a duo, you know, I think that we have a chance of building something great. And, you know, maybe we're not the only ones at school that are alone with these powers.
Well, I guess we better hope so. Because in order to form a club at Rhododendron High School, you need to have at least 5 members.
5? Oh, God, what kind of Sailor Moon nonsense is that?
It's just a standard club rule. It was really hard for the chess club to get off the ground, too.
Yeah. I mean, like, Tegan and Sarah are great, and there's only 2 of them.
Yeah. I think you can narrow things down when you hit the college leagues, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So, are you in?
If you make me a promise, I'm in.
Okay, alright. What would you want me to promise?
Whether things go good, whether things go bad, whether the club soars to new heights or completely crashes and burns and everything explodes. You and me, friends first.
Absolutely. You have my word. And then she, like, puts her hand out. Oh, and she takes the glove off.
Yuki, you've got yourself a club. And she reaches out to shake your hand, and in the moment that she's shaking your hand, she de-transforms back into the clothes she was wearing before.
Yeah.
And it's like all of the flower petals just kind of float off and away into the wind.
And then Yuki also de-transforms and then pulls her in for a hug.
And they hug and it's cute and I like it. I think you spend the rest of the afternoon just hanging out. Lily's brother Willow does indeed give you a ride home.
Awesome.
You are in the sidecar of his motorcycle.
Oh, I'm just imagining her stuffing the dress in the sidecar
Uh-huh.
with the helmet and the
Uh-huh.
goggles, you know, and she's like, ah, like it's
He has his hair cropped pretty close to his head, and it's in this like finger wave style, which I recently discovered by watching Jasmine on YouTube. Yes, Jasmine try to learn how to do on herself for like a week, but he's got this perfectly styled finger wave thing going on.
Yes.
He's got that really strong jaw. He is fairly muscled, so
Oh.
to answer Yuki's question of is he cute, Survey says yes.
The survey says yes.
But yeah, he drives you home, and when you get out of the sidecar, he kind of takes you by the shoulder for a second, just like one hand on your shoulder, not the really intense two hands.
Yep.
And he's just like, hey, my sister, she's really sensitive.
Oh.
You take care of her, okay?
Oh, okay, I will.
Okay. And then he just drives off. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all of the conversation you get with Willow at this time.
She just kind of puts her hair behind her ear, and you kind of a loose hair. And I was like, good first day. Now to design costumes. And she like turns around and like heads into the house.
So, for the next couple of days, you start initiating the process of trying to get this club together. You get all the information you need from the office. It is true that the school rules say that a club needs at least 5 members to be a club, as well as a faculty advisor. Clubs start with $50 in their budget, which is definitely not enough to get stage equipment. And anything beyond that $50, they have to fundraise for. So you're kind of getting all of this figured out. Lily actually seems excited about it, as nervous as she is, and she starts like making posters and all this stuff.
Oh, yes.
And then 2 or 3 days after that, you get a text from her. And the text just says, I can't do this. I'm sorry. What do you do?
Is it during school? Is it at home? Like, when does this happen?
It's during school, but she is not at school.
I text her back and I'm like, what's wrong? What do you mean? Like, we have flyers. I was gonna, like, take your measurements for costumes after school today. What's going on?
For a long time in that school day, she doesn't answer you. And when
Okay.
she does answer you, it's just a few little words. And it's, I'm not good enough for your dream. I'm sorry, for the listener's benefit, Hector has just so many emotions running across his face right now.
Yeah, just like, yeah, Yuki is, okay, this is cool. All right, I'm gonna mess with the rules some. So, Yuki is going to say, that's not true. Remember rehearsal 2 days ago? It was so amazing when we started writing our first song. And then she's going to send the selfie that they took together that day after rehearsal. And I'm going to use that text and that picture as a way, I'm attempting to trigger the move Comfort Soothe.
Okay. Roll it.
Okay, cool. Oh no. Snake eyes.
Okay. So no matter what you add to that, that's not going to get you where you need to be.
No, go. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what you do, because I've run masks before, and I know when you fail a roll, that's when the GM gets to make a move.
Yeah. So you don't receive a message back at all. If you try to contact her, she continues to be unresponsive. She's also not at school for the next few days, which means that lands you at the weekend. What do you do?
I'm gonna go visit her house.
Okay. You go to visit her house. But when you get to the front gate, you notice out of the corner of your eye, she is on her bike pedaling for all she's worth down the street. You don't know where she's going.
Oh no. She runs down the street and she's like, "Wait! We need to talk." Like, and she's like, huffing with her skirts, and she's like, we promised we were friends first. Friends talk, and I'm gonna make a provoke roll.
Okay, that's a good idea. Roll it.
Okay, I rolled a 9, and then
Damn.
provoke adds superior, right?
Yes.
9, 10, so that is an 11.
Okay.
Because my superior is 2.
So on a 10 plus, they rise to the bait and do what you want. I think I'm going to keep rolling with that hard move that we started with because of the failed roll. Failed roll. Did you mark potential for that?
Yeah, I did.
Good. Okay.
So now I have a total of 2 potential.
So for that failed roll in combination with this total success,
Okay.
I think she tries to bring the bike to a stop, but she does it too hard and it skids out from under her, and she goes flying. Skinned arms, skinned elbows, skinned legs, the works, flying.
Oh no. I am going to. The bike has like stopped, so I'm going to.
The bike is actually a couple yards away from where she ended up landing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so she's like landed. All right.
Yeah. She is on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna rush over next to her and pick her up and be like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? I didn't mean to I didn't mean to startle you. I just wanted to talk." And I'm gonna
full on crying.
I'm gonna try and comfort, soothe.
Okay.
You know, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
I rolled a 6 and a 2.
Okay. So again, we're gonna add a team point to the pool. And then I'm trying to figure out how exactly to do this, because you're right, with NPCs we don't really have marks to move around. We don't really have conditions.
Right. No, I hear you.
But I think she's still crying, and she's the kind of girl that hiccups when she cries.
Right.
And she says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not good enough, and I'm just gonna drag you down. And
I mean, I don't believe that. I really Those are just your brain weasels talking. And weasels lie.
And when you say that, from around a corner in this little alleyway, you suddenly see a tall, unreasonably tall woman clothed entirely in black. She has this dark aura around her, but she's very pale. And her mouth seems too wide for her face.
Ooh.
And she reaches out this hand with 2 long fingers toward Lily and says, "You know better than that, girl. Listen to your feelings."
At this point, Yuki looks up and realizes, like, this is the moment that she has been waiting for.
Really quick before we move forward.
Yeah.
As GM, when you de-transform, I'm supposed to move your markers.
Oh, yeah, from the previous time?
The previous time. We kind of just skipped over that. Just put them back to normal, and then
cool.
I'm assuming you're going to transform and move them again wherever you want to. But I just...
Right.
I forgot.
Okay.
So, the moment Yuki's been waiting for, are we doing another transformation sequence?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything different about this transformation sequence compared to the last one?
This one is different because she doesn't have the violin. And this one, she, like, stands up, and it's more almost like a ballerina transformation. But the violin music is still going on in the background. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As these sort of, these blue cherry blossoms that weren't in the last transformation sequence kind of swirl around her, and, like, you know, the hem of the dress once again, like, glows white, and it frosts over and spins, and it becomes cold, and then, you know, as she finishes the spin and her outfit changes, she's like at the ready, like, kind of unarmed, essentially, but still fully transformed, and points at her and says, "I don't know exactly who you think you are, but you're gonna leave, or I'm going to make you leave."
Don't worry, you meddlesome child. I will leave. But then she opens her cloak, and when she does this, it's this just dark pit. You don't see the folds of the fabric. You only see darkness. And it's warm. And it's enticing. Something about you wants to touch it. And Lily, it doesn't even look like she's thinking about it. She's just moving toward this cloak.
I'm going to assess the situation.
Okay. Roll it.
Hold on, let me switch my... I forgot to switch my...
labels.
Labels. Let's see here. Superior to 2, and danger to 1.
Okay.
And now I'm in assess the situation. I wanted to get my stats right before I made a roll.
Absolutely.
Okay, 5, 6, 7. I got a 7.
Okay. So you get to ask one of the following questions. What here can I use to blank? What here is the biggest threat? What here is the greatest danger? Who here is the most vulnerable to me? And how could we best end this quickly?
Okay, I'm gonna first ask, how could we best end this quickly?
Keep in mind, you only get one question because you rolled a 7.
Okay, I get 1. Okay, I'm going to ask, what here is the... Well, no, because it'll give me a +1. What here is the biggest threat?
Getting into that cloak is the biggest threat and the biggest mistake you could make. And Lily is walking right towards it.
Okay, and then for my, because I have delinquent, criminal mind.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
what is the best way past her?
If you can trick her into thinking she's going to have what she wants, she will stand down. But to do that, you have to figure out what she wants.
So I see Lily is going towards her. So I am immediately, like, Tuxedo Mask style, going to, like, wrap my arm, like, around Lily and then kind of, like, leap, like, into the air onto the roof of the next building, doing a protect from danger, I believe is what that is.
Let's see.
Defend. It's a defend.
Defend, yes.
Okay. Ooh, God, savior. You know what? I will still do it, though. Like... Okay. A 6 and a 1. So I rolled a 7, and then my savior, which is not that great. Oh, never mind. I failed. My savior is -1. Oh, no, but I got a +1 because I'm acting on, my assess. So 7.
Yes. So 7, you just barely made it. So it costs you expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. Then you can choose to either add a team to the pool. You currently have 1 team in the pool.
Yeah.
Take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition.
Okay. I'm gonna take influence over Lily. And then what I'm gonna do is, as I leap into the air, I'm gonna expose myself to danger. And the way I do it, if you're cool with it, is I think that I get almost to the roof, but I don't quite make it. So I, like, shove Lily onto the roof of the building, and then I fall and crash, and then, like, part of the concrete, like, breaks as I hit the ground. So, like, I'm on the ground, vulnerable, while she has the cloak open.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I want you to take 1 harm for hitting the ground.
Oh, okay, cool. Or condition, right?
Oh, right, it's a condition here.
Yeah. What condition would you like me to take?
Let's see. Let's do angry.
Angry?
This woman
Okay.
is messing with your friend, and you wouldn't have gotten hurt in the first place if she wasn't messing with your friend.
Gotcha.
So you fall. Lily is safely on this roof right now. But that cloak is still open. And she reaches out a hand towards you. And she says, "Your heart is mine." And as she says that, these dark aura tendrils leap out from those 2 long, 2 thin fingers and start wrapping around you.
Ooh.
So you're going to take a powerful blow.
Okay.
So you roll plus conditions marked.
Okay. And then roll plus conditions, and I have 1.
So whatever you roll plus 1.
Alright, I'm trying to think if I have... Someone tries to pierce your max, comfort, provoke you. I don't care what you think, rejecting influence. Okay, so she's doing neither of those things. Here we go. I rolled a 4.
Okay, you stand strong. Mark a potential. So I'm going to tell you what happens, and then you tell me how you withstand this.
Okay, cool.
All right. So these dark tendrils wrap around you. And you hear voices talking to you. And they say things like,
"Who do you think you are to start an idol club? Foolish girl. She thinks she's special."
and all of these little whispers and all of these voices are wrapping around in your head, through your heart. They are trying to make you feel terrible, hopeless, afraid.
There is this moment where Yuki closes her eyes and the camera kind of zooms in, and then it's just sort of her floating in this void, and you hear all these voices, and all of a sudden Yuki's voiceover happens, and she says, "This is where I live every day. There is nothing you can say that I haven't already said to myself." And then the tendrils turn to ice and shatter off of her.
That's so badass. I love that. Okay, so these tendrils shatter off of her, and this woman makes this weird, almost animalistic hissing noise, and that too wide mouth opens too far to show these super sharp teeth, and then she slips back into the shadows and she's gone.
She gets up, dusts herself off. She's like, "Lily, are you okay?"
I think at this point Lily has managed to stop crying, and she's like, "Am I okay? Are you okay?" And she's trying to transform, but she's just too upset to manage it right now.
Don't worry about transforming right now. Just come down the fire escape, and we'll go to your house and we'll regroup, okay?
She does manage to get down the fire escape. It takes her a minute because it doesn't go all the way up to the roof. And then when she gets closer to you, normally I would just have you tell me when or if you want to roll something. But in this unique situation, I would like you to roll to unleash your powers.
Yes, absolutely. I will do that.
Okay.
Okay, I rolled a 9, and then I believe... Let me check my freak. I don't think I have...
I don't think you have
I have a
anything
0.
in
No, I have a 0 in freak.
Okay.
Yeah, but I rolled a 9.
Okay. So on a 7 to 9 mark condition, or the GM will tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary. Mark hopeless for me.
Okay, gotcha.
And then your powers. You're an emotional manipulator.
Yeah.
As you found out in this encounter, so is this enemy.
Right.
And that dark aura, now that you are familiar with it and you've seen it, you can now see it clinging to Lily.
Oh. Okay. She reaches out and takes Lily's hand and says, "I live every day in this kind of sadness. I mentioned the weasels before, and it's because I live with it, and I understand it. But you don't have to live with it. And I'm going to use the Comfort Soothe move, but through my powers of emotion control, and try and pull that darkness away."
Okay. Roll it.
Okay. I rolled 2 5s.
Dang. And then for a comfort, it's plus mundane.
Yes, which is 2, so it's 12.
That's a complete and perfect success. So I think you pull this dark aura away from her, and you don't even take it into yourself. It just dissipates, like it was never there. And she bursts into tears again, but this time you can tell it's clearly from relief. And she holds on to you and just cries.
And then, like, in a burst of, like, stardust and frost, I de-transform while we're hugging. Just to have some relief, be myself. And whatever you want to shift.
I think we'll just shift them back to normal for now.
Okay.
Once she calms down a little bit, she's just like, "Yuki, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
It's okay. It's okay. I'm so mad. I can't believe this. I knew eventually we were going to run into some discordant people, but I really was hoping we would establish our group first.
I'm still with you if you'll have me.
Absolutely. But can we go to your place and have something to eat? Or maybe get boba.
Let's get boba.
And then I'm gonna take her hand and I'm gonna hold her hand as we walk to the boba place, not caring who sees.
I think you both get boba. I think on the weekends they do a special like ice cream blended boba, so you get that. You just got so excited.
So excited. Yeah, when Yuki sees that, she just puts her hands on her face and smiles and just. She's usually much more like composed, but the ice cream blended boba gets her really excited.
Yeah. And then when you get to Lily's place, I think Willow's there with some of his friends. I think you know at this point that Willow is an older sibling, and he goes to the local community college. And before his friends can say anything, he just points at each one of them and it's just like, if you're a creep, I'm going to kick your ass. You two can use the bedroom. So you hang out in Lily's bedroom.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's that divider going down the middle of it, so you're on Lily's half. And I think this is actually the first time you've seen Lily's half of the bedroom. And there are Super Idol posters up everywhere in that teen way of plastering your entire room in posters.
Yeah.
But there is also a doodle of the two of you, and it's depicting that first time you jammed back in the garden.
Nice. She just tries to like process and sit there and talks to her and tries to find out what happened.
Yeah, I think yes. So she is kind of mildly sipping her ice cream blended boba, and eventually she says, the day that I texted you and I said I couldn't do it, I just felt like I was the worst person possible to help you do anything. Much less be a super idol band. Like, there's so many demands and expectations, and I have a hard time when people just decide they don't like me. And I guess I thought if I was near you and people decided they didn't like me, they would just decide they didn't like you either. And then what would happen to your dreams of an idol club or any career that you might want after high school? I would ruin it all for you, which is so...
I don't know why you would think that. You've been so helpful. You designed all of the flyers. We've been making great music. I know everything just went sideways. Have you ever seen that person before?
Not before I started thinking and feeling those things. And then I saw her every once in a while, like near the house or near the boba place or...
She has a really dangerous power to control people's feelings. And it's not okay. Dealing with depression is hard. And anyone who would just do that to someone, it's wrong.
Wait, I know who she is. And then we're going to cut right there.
Oh!
All right, everyone, that's it for our show. Make sure to check the description for lots of fun links, including links to Super Idols. Thank you again, Super Idols and Aaron Cerise, for letting us use your extended rules for masks, as well as links to Zoe Hovland, who did our theme music. And, of course, thank you to YouTube Audio Library and Epidemic Sounds. We'll catch you next time. Bye!
Be gay. Roll dice.
An LGBTQIA actual play podcast network.